All right, Shalom. All right, start up saying Call Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Harikah Kodash Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the word millstone, double honors to our elder apostle, the well heard one by Yashar, all down here in the lines of the camp. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth, sincerity, and truth, and peace and blessings to the men and women and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right, I'm Kanas and on by Yashar, all from the lines of the Yashar camp. This is another Lions in News and Prophecy. So here we go. Is 2 Ezra 15 and 1, it says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. All right, so this is just a little quick update on the situation that's going on in Iran. Of course, you know we have had a ceasefire, and Trump, I think yesterday was the deadline for them to come up with some sort of deal in order to for the U.S. to not to strike Iran again with missiles. Um, Yeah, man, this devil is you know, treacherous with his ways. Like he's all about the old Roman Empire type deal, draconian measures, you know, bringing force upon the people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, at what end? When will it stop? It won't. It won't. It will not stop because you know, and until uh people bend to his will, and even with that, it still won't stop. It still won't stop because of the greed, that this individual has. All right. It says, the article says Trump says U.S. may strike Iran again, but that Tehran wants deal. All right. So Tehran wanted a deal, right? But the United States still says it might send strikes because the deal doesn't comply with what Washington wants. All right. It says Washington, May 19th, President Donald Trump said on Tuesday that the United States may need to strike Iran again and that he had been an hour away from ordering an attack before postponing it. See, other countries stepped in and intervened and asked him not to do that. You see what I'm saying? So which postponed it. All right. It said Trump made the comments a day after saying he had paused and plan resumptions of hostilities following a new proposal by Tehran to end the war, the U.S.-Israeli war. It says I was an hour away from making the decision to go today, Trump told reporters at the White House on Tuesday. See the way he talks to the press is like you can tell he's a little fucking kid, bro. These are people's lives at stake. People being unalive behind this, and he's like, "Yeah, I was an hour away from doing it, but you know what I'm saying? It's just the way he talks. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and that's just the part. That's his natural nature. That's why these devils got to be taken off the earth, bro. Because, bro, they are wicked by nature. They don't know anything else besides wickedness, no matter how they try to disguise it with the smile. That's like the elders. They will sit and smile in your face, knowing that their agenda is to destroy you, or for you to self-destruct. Because they don't even have to destroy us anymore, because they set up a system that will eventually allow us to self-destruct. If it wasn't for the intervention of Yahweh by Shem Shai, we would probably self-destruct. That's how well this system is put into place. But they're not even the ones that put the system into place. The Lord did. All right. Just to show. So so everything that we see transpiring on earth today, no matter who it looks like it's coming from, it's all being orchestrated by Yahweh by Shem Shai at the end of the day. You know, it's all a playing field to show humanity who really exists. He really exists. It's like how the elder was explaining in his video this morning on these idols. Everything outside of the truth is idolatry. No matter if you want to say you're agnostic or don't believe in God or anything like that, that's still a form of idolatry. That's self idolism. You know, that's the worship. Anything. So anything outside of Yahweh Shema Shai is cursed. Is a cursed thing. It's cursed. You know. So not in the sense of Yahweh Shai being a cursed thing for the children of Israel, but um everything outside of the the right hand of Yahweh Shema Shai is really fake, false. Like, you know, so everything that these people hope for and push agendas to try to achieve is all vanity because it's going to end up going to bring them to nothing, to not. All right, so going into this next part of the article, this is what America wants. It says, I was an hour away from making the decision to go today, Trump told reporters at the White House on Tuesday. Iran's leaders are begging for a deal, he said, adding that a new U.S. strike would happen in coming days if no agreement was reached. See that? Now, I don't think that's true, them begging for a deal, but that's exactly what they want. They don't want not only want a deal, they want Iran to yield to their mercy. See that? That's fucking oh, that's greed. That's self that's self worship. He wants to play the hand of God, and he wants the Iran to yield to his mercy, to bow down to him. But ain't no more bowing. See that? But I don't think Iran is begging nothing. It says the U.S. president is under intense political pressure at home to reach an accord that would reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for global supplies of oil and other commodities. Gas prices remain high, hell yeah, and Trump's approval rating has plummeted. His pomp is being brought down to the grave. His arrogance is going to be brought down. It says, plummeted as congressional elections loom over in November. It says oil prices settled lower than on Tuesday after Vice President J.D. Vance said Washington and Tehran had made a lot of progress in talks and neither side wanted to see a resumption of the military campaign. We're in a pretty good spot here, he said. Yeah, right. It says, speaking to reporters at a White House briefing, Vance acknowledged difficulties in negotiating with a fractured Iranian leadership. It's not sometimes totally clear what the negotiation position of the team is, he said, so the United States is trying to make its own red lines clear. He also said no, meaning making their own red lines clear, meaning making it clear, like this is the only way we're going. If it's not that, then fuck it. See that? It says he also said one objective of Trump's policy is to prevent a nuclear arms race from spreading in the region. Iran promises response to any new attack. Right. So if they are saying, they say, please, for your sake. Like you know how you know you can beat somebody behind. You know you can beat the brakes off of them, right? And they keep coming up to you threatening you. You be like, come on, please, man, please leave me alone. Please go somewhere and sit down. You're thinking about not being fair to them, thinking about what you're gonna have to do to them if they don't get somewhere and sit down. That's what I think this is. So that's what if any begging going on, but I doubt if it is. It says in Tehran, Ibrahim Azazi, head of the Iranian parliament's National Security Committee, said on X that pausing an attack was due to Trump's realization that any move against Iran would mean facing a decisive military response. That don't sound like nobody begging to me. It says Iranian state media said Tehran's latest peace proposal includes ending hostilities on all fronts, including Lebanon, the exit of the United States forces from areas close to Iran, and reparations for destruction caused by the U.S.-Israeli attack. And that's the one big dollar amount right there. Those reparations gonna cost. That's why they can't. They. That's why he says he has to make Iran say uncle, meaning because if the United States pulls out the war, anybody that was involved that may have bombed one of the infrastructures, they're all gonna have to pay restitution to Iran, which will make Iran rich. See that? Because the amount of damage that's been done. All right. It said Tehran also sought the lifting of sanctions, release of frozen funds, and into the U.S. Marine blockade, according to the Deputy Foreign Minister Kazim Garibati, as cited by IRNA news agency. The terms as described in the Iranian repost appeared little changed from Iran's previous offer, which Trump rejected last week as garbage. Both sides changing goalposts, says Pakistani source. It says Reuters could not determine whether military preparations have been made for strikes that would make a renewal that would mark a renewal of the war Trump started in late February. Here we are ending May. It said Trump said on Monday that Washington would be satisfied if it could reach an agreement that prevented Tehran from obtaining nuclear weapons. Hmm. It says a Pakistani source confirmed that Islamabad, which was conveyed message between the which has conveyed messages between the sides since hosting the only round of peace talks last month, had shared the Iranian proposal to Washington. The sides keep changing their goalposts, the Pakistani source said, adding, "We don't have much time." Ceasefire mostly. He said the U.S. Israeli bombing killed thousands of people in Iran before it was suspended in a ceasefire in early April. Israeli Israel has killed thousands more and driven hundreds of thousands more from their homes in Lebanon, which invaded in which it invaded in pursuit of the Iran-backed uh, Hezbollah militia. See, because originally Iran had asked for the ceasefire to be a part of Lebanon to be a part of the ceasefire also, but they didn't add it to it. So the Iran ceasefire has mostly held, although drones have lately been launched from Iraq towards Gulf countries, including Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, apparently by Iran and its allies. All right, it says the United States seized an Iran-linked oil tanker in the Indian Ocean overnight. The Wall Street Journal reported on Tuesday, citing these citing three U.S. officials. The was tanker known as the Skywave was sanctioned by the United States in March for its role in transporting Iranian oil. The report said Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said they launched the war to curb Iran's support for regional militias, decimate its nuclear program, destroy its missile capabilities, and create conditions for Iran to topple their rulers. So they just want to change everything and want to leave them defenseless, kind of like they did with Japan in World War II. So like, and when you have a situation like that, you don't have to have total control over that area because they're defensive. They ain't gonna bust a grape. They ain't gonna do nothing because they don't have the might to do anything. Because like for a while, I think Japan wasn't even allowed to have their own military. Hold on one second. Okay, so yes, Japan has a highly advanced, well-funded, and powerful military. However, under its post-World War II constitution, it is officially known as the Japan Self-Defense Force. While Constitution's Article 9 renounces war and the maintenance of traditional war potential, the JSDF functions as a fully operational military in all but name. Uh, Technically, they have one, but they're not allowed to go to war with it. Pretty much, meaning they're not allowed to come up against America. None of that. Um, when was it? Yeah, because that was the thing. If you think about it, like this is the same thing that Japan and America was going through in World War II, and um uh apparently allegedly Japan had already surrendered before the bombs were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. However, it wasn't to the terms that the United States wanted them to surrender. They wanted a full, just like how we just read right here in the article. They wanted a full change in leadership, a full change in everything. Like it says, Trump and Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said they launched the war to curb Iran's support for regional militias, dismantle its nuclear program, destroy its missile capabilities. You don't want them to have a nuke or any type of missiles or missile defense, and create conditions for Iranians to topple their rulers. See that? So basically they just want them to submit and surrender, just like how Japan did, and let them pretty much have control over everything. You know. So here you have it. Supposed to be having negotiations back and forth, but Trump said that they're running out of time, and you know what that means. See what happened to Japan. But the Lord has something set up for these devils. All right, Lord willing, this lesson edify and serve his purpose for the hope of let the one truly believe in the name Yahweh Shema Shai. Dad like to call Halayim, La Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Harakah Kodash, Ma'amah. Double honors to the elder apostles, the great Muslim, double honors to our elder apostles of the world, her one Banyan Charlotte down in the lines of the camp. Salutations to the Arkin and the pushing the truth, sincerity the truth, and peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name Yahweh Shema Shai. Shalom.